All right. So currently we're Master 73 LP. Are we? I mean, seems like we're usually Master. What's your peak?
My peak is like just below 500,
Okay.
480 or something.
Yeah. And how like seriously do you play League? Would you say?
I play pretty seriously, I
Okay.
would say.
Yeah.
I don't know. I take most like all my games seriously. And
Yeah. No, I don't mean you troll. Like I mean like if you're looking to like go pro or something like this. That's what I mean. Like more. Or if you're
uh,
like just doing it as a
yeah,
for fun
uh,
thing.
I'm playing a bit in Soul at the moment. Div 2 last season, and yeah, I don't know
Yeah.
really. I would like to maybe, but I
Yeah.
feel like I'm a bit too bad. Yeah,
Nah,
like
everyone can do anything they want. Like I promise you. Like if you just put the time and effort into it, you can do anything.
yeah,
Right. So your goal would be like to try and like eventually go pro if possible, but at the moment maybe just be as good as possible and see where it
yeah,
goes.
exactly.
Right.
Yeah,
And which game is it that you want me to look through?
yeah. I don't really know uh, what games you prefer. Like
I mean, I prefer. I mean, if you ask me, I prefer games that are not like sums from either side, and games where we actually can have like a proper impact on the game. You know what I mean? That's like, and then it's kind of up to you. You maybe have one in mind where you felt like, okay, I'm not sure what I could have done here or something like this, or like you felt like maybe you could have improved on some stuff. You know,
uh, yeah, maybe the Taliyah game then, like the one you have on screen, or the
this one or below
yeah, the 10 and 5. I don't
10
know.
and 5. Yeah, sure. All right, and are there any like things in particular you want me to like look out for while coaching you, like that you think you struggle with, that you think you could get better at, or?
I think I'm a pretty bad worder, or like I I don't buy control words, and I
Yeah.
usually sit on words, so that would be one thing.
Mm-hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
then uh, yeah, sometimes in late game I'm a bit indecisive, I would say.
Okay.
I'm a bit scared that my like the team is gonna fight when I go side,
Mm-hmm.
or
Yeah.
sometimes I just run
Is
around my
this
team doing nothing.
both in solo queue or in comp as well?
Uh, just in solo queue, I think.
Okay. Right. And do you want to like coach you in mind that it's mainly solo queue right now, or like do you want me to like note out if like there's something you should do different in comp that like
Uh,
or no?
both if possible.
Yeah, exactly. That's what I
Or
mean. So yeah, I can do that. Right. I mean, right now you're playing mainly like I can see on your matches you're like Rise Taliyah. You're playing a few different champions, right? Like Estral here a bit, and I mean, yeah, some other stuff when there's like spots for it. But the main thing with these two champions, right, is that they're like quite heavy roaming champions, right? Like you want to have a lot of impact on the map. Maybe you saw it earlier. I was
yeah,
coaching Real Life and he was playing Taliyah as well.
yeah.
So it's gonna be a bit similar stuff in that sense, or some of it is gonna be similar.
I
Um,
did not catch a lot of it. I
no,
just got
that's
moments.
completely fine. I think he said it as well. Like he's a bit more uncomfortable on Taliyah than you are probably, so that's fine. Um, all right, what is the plan like going into the game?
I feel like my champ is like insane late game,
Yep.
and I'm not really comfortable with Brand lane.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I feel like if you just play like normally, he's gonna W the wave and then spam E on you, and it's really hard to dodge the long range E.
Mm-hmm.
So I usually like to, or I try to push early so that he kinda has to,
Yep.
uh, yeah, play a bit more defensively and not use spells on me, and
Mm-hmm.
then so I'm not too scared of the early game Skarner. I think
Right.
it's yeah,
Yeah, I mean, he should be more scared of your Rek'Sai, I think, than you should be of this
yeah.
corner. Just like in general, I don't mind it, right? And what are we planning on doing with the push, right? If we can get it.
Uh, connect with Rek'Sai and hopefully go bot. I
Sure. Because in general, like, there's two things that make your champion strong. One is, like you said, you're like extremely good in late game team fights, like these kind of things, right? Because your champion pumps out damage and you have a lot of utility, right? So your champion scale is insane. But it's also that you have a lot of push power and roam potential in mid lane, right?
Yeah.
So these are the two things you want to play for permanently. You want to make sure you're as strong as possible, not losing resources, but still making plays on the map, right? That's the goal. Right, so usually you want to play push, and this lane, of course, is not super easy, right? As you say, like he can get a lot of poke on you, he has a lot of wave clear, these kind of things, right?
Yeah.
It's not super easy. I would try to play towards the side where you have more space in general. Like, so for example, right here, I would not play towards, like, hugging this wall. I would play towards this side. Unless you're scared of getting yanked by his corner for some reason. Makes sense?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's like, because here we're like having to hug the minions, you see what I mean? And here we have like way more space in that sense, right?
Yeah, I haven't really thought about that, to be honest.
Yeah, and something we can like, yeah, something we
It's so
can like,
obvious now.
yeah, something we can look to do as well if we're like scared of maybe hugging this side, right? Like because of like Skarner ganking or stuff like over here, like is that we can use, for example, on the first wave even, like, or if we're not scared on the first wave, that's fine as well. We shove like we did here, like here we're like hugging a bit finer, right? In a sense, yeah, we get to push.
Yeah.
If we want to, we can just go down here, place a ward.
Yeah, because I just try to play as far away from him as possible.
Yeah,
and still get push.
Right, but this guy is not trying to space you in a sense, right? You're gonna try to need to space the minions, right?
Yeah.
Because as you're saying, like what he wants to do is fucking press W and then press E, right? And then you're gonna take a lot of damage.
Yeah.
It's like at times, obviously, if he starts trying to go towards you, then you just like look to Q him right in return.
Yeah, then it's
like
win the trade, I feel like.
In general, I think your champion is like slightly shorter range than him, right? If he gets to trade on the minions, right? But you all, for that reason, you want to preferably stay on the same side. He wants to play away from you, so he should be playing on this side, right? And then you play on this side, and then you can space away from the minions. You know, makes sense?
Yeah.
And now we're in a bit of a rough spot. I mean, we go for this. Seems like a weird fight in general. Like why it's going on in solo queue. That's why what I'm not sure about. Yeah, exactly. I mean, I assume we're just gonna be getting some stuff here. Here, I would probably. I'm not sure. Like, obviously, I don't see your point of view, right? In that sense, right now. So you know yourself a bit better. I'm not sure you're aware of what's going on over here on this part of the fight, or if you're not.
I'm queuing Sona, so I think.
Yeah.
Or like she died.
Yeah, of course. But what I mean is like over here, right? Because now we're like chasing these guys, right? You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And we're winning over here, right? Agreed?
Yeah.
This fight is won. What I would look to do here is that you use zone out the brand.
Yeah.
Right, if you like start chasing over here, they could turn onto Rek'Sai, for example, right? If you start chasing over here, we kind of get into this spot where we're not really useful if we don't flash over the wall. You see what I mean? Brand has 10 times more value than us here, right?
Yeah, I did nothing, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, it's like, it's not like we're completely useless, right? But it's like, if we zone out the brand, then, you know, he has a lot more value than us, right, in this fight. That's just my point.
Yeah.
Yeah, and this play looks generally good. I mean, any time where like this guy doesn't have flash, like it's just super free. Like you just want to wait with your CC like you do. Taliyah is very strong with these kind of champions like Rek'Sai, Viego, Volibear, whatever, right?
Yeah.
Right. What is the plan right now? Because we're sitting on a bunch of gold. What are we waiting for? Like, what is the plan for reset?
I think I'm just trying to push out this wave and.
Right, but we're not pushing out this wave, agreed? Most likely. I mean, maybe we are actually. Maybe I'm stupid. Okay, never mind then, I guess. I thought he would just fight you over it, to be honest.
Yeah, maybe it's a bit greedy pushing out. Maybe
no, if you wanna like stay here, that's fine, right? That's not what I'm saying in that sense either. I'm just so that we have a plan. Like, when we push out this wave, let's say, what are we planning on doing with the gold that we get from the wave? That's what I'm trying to ask, right?
Yeah.
Because... Yeah, go.
Yeah, I thought I would just have more time to base if I take the wave first.
Yeah, no, that's very true, right? But it's like, my thought process, right, is that what should happen, right? He has more resources than you, right now.
Yeah.
Like, in terms of mana HP, he has more damage than you, right? Because he has spent his gold as well, right? So if he wants to, he should probably just go and fight you, right? Agreed?
Yeah, true.
Anytime, and even if you, like, can stay here and be fine, right? Anytime you don't spend your gold right now is time this guy gets to lane for free. right?
Yeah.
He can do whatever he wants while you're not resetting. It's like, even though you can stay on like low HP, low mana, right? It's like not always ideal in that sense. If we have like something to reset for example, you really wanted your Lost Chapter here and maybe like something else, like maybe here you wanted to buy a control ward, obviously you didn't, but like, let's say that's the case, right?
Yeah.
Then it makes sense to stay, right? But now we could have gone on Lost Chapter anyways, right? If we wanted to.
Yeah.
And if we felt like, okay, we need to stay to catch this wave, otherwise you will shove us in and we miss some minions, okay, that's a valid reason, right? I just want you to have a reason for what you're doing, right?
Yeah, that was my reasoning that time.
Yeah. Alright, and what is the plan right here? Right now?
Yeah, I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'm not saying
playing
what
my
is the
play,
plan
yes.
inside of the game either. What do you think should be the plan?
I don't know how well. I think I wanna try to push and pressure and go to the objective that my Rek'Sai goes for.
Right. Your champion still is strong because you can push and you can roam easily, right?
Yeah.
Right, so that's what we want to play for. Right now, even though this is not the greatest matchup, we're a lot stronger than him, right? Agreed?
Yeah.
So, we can just decide to push whenever we want. Like, the main thing I spoke with, like, Real Life about the early game was, like, you need to look around what's going on in your lanes, and for your Rek'Sai as well, right? This guy's a playmaker, you want to make plays with him, right?
Yeah.
And you can easily do that, and sometimes you can shot call that as well by, like, just paying attention to what's going on in lanes, right? If you see, for example, enemy bot lane here starts playing for push, let's just say, then it's not hard to go for a play here, right?
No.
For example. And these are the kind of things we can pay attention to, and I want us to sync up our waves with it, kinda, right? In a sense. Versus Brand, he like both of you can kind of one-tap the waves, so it's not like super easy to wave manage in that sense, and that's just gonna be the lane a lot of the time. But still, like, okay, push, go for ward. So the general thing that we try to look for do is that when we get prio, we get the prio, and then we go for wards, because this ensures that we can keep the prio. Make sense?
Yeah.
Because then you know you're not getting ganked randomly or something like that. And then you always have a side to hug towards. So for example, let's say you want to play this Drake, or maybe you want to play a bot dive. I would shove this, go ward enemy Raptors, for example, right?
Yeah.
And then you can go back to lane, and then you can shove again. And then you know that, okay, if I'm walking through this jungle, or like if I'm just pushing and hovering towards this side, I'm not getting ganked, right?
Yeah. And then I can go bot easily.
Right. But now when we walk through here, right? Maybe you know where this corner is. I'm not sure, to be honest, right? If you know where he is, this is fine. If you don't know, for all I care, you might just be getting fucking one-tapped in a second. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
And now we place this ward, and it's like fine, right? But it's like not as optimal as if, like, let's say if we wanted to go for a dive, that we could like just walk through here, you know, and then dive.
Yeah.
And these are the things you try to use your wards for mainly, right? Like in that sense, right? You look to push, you look to get wards, and with this vision, right? You can play a lot more safer on the map. Not only you, but everyone, right? It's the idea.
Yeah.
And if you can't get prio, then a bit more safer vision is fine as well, right?
Yeah.
Alright, and something to note here is that I think trying to trade with this guy is most of the time quite pointless. I'm sure you agree.
Yeah.
But it's like, for example,
Yeah.
right here, like, okay, we shove the wave, I don't hate us shoving the wave or whatever, we have a ward, we could go place that, maybe we can look for a play with Rek'Sai, whatever, maybe we look for a reset, something like this, right? So we shove here, and then we combo him, and we just get nothing for it, you see what I mean? We're just wasting mana for 0, right?
Yeah.
The main thing... Yeah, go.
I
okay.
like usually think it's... I don't know. Sometimes I kill by doing this, but it really has to do with them being bad, I feel like.
The thing is with like mage versus mage matchups, especially something like this where like neither person should die, agreed, is that your mana pool is probably more important than your HP pool, like a lot of the time. Whoever has more mana can make sure they get better resets, right, usually. It's like...
Yeah, but I have lost chapter.
Yes, of course. Of course, you get away with it, kinda. You know what I mean? But my point is that, like, right now it's like full mana, right? And let's say even with Lost Chapter, I don't know, maybe we're like 3/4, let's say, right, agreed?
Yeah.
Something like that, right? And then we have a biscuit as well, so maybe like a bit more, a bit less. I don't know exactly, right? It's like, but anytime he decides to fully shove out the waves, right, and just fucking commit it's a dire mana bar to this, and you wanna match it, you have to do the same thing, right? And if he does this enough times, maybe he will end up here, and you will end up 0 mana, and then it's rough for you to play, right?
Yeah.
Your HP, like, or if you think you actually have some ways to pressure his HP bar, right, then it's worth doing so, right?
Yeah.
But otherwise, you're just trading away your main resource, right? Your main resource is your mana. You need to keep this. Make sense?
Yeah.
And sometimes, I'm not saying you shouldn't go for trades or whatever, like as I said, sometimes it's worth it, right? But we just have to be aware of this fact.
Yeah.
Because now we can see, okay, sure, we haven't used that much mana, but it's like, now he just has a prior, right? And of course, we can gank on him, and that's fine, right? If we're planning on, like, giving him the prior to gank on him, that can be fine as well, right? But these are things to just consider. It's like every matchup has a main resource, right? It's either like usually HP or like mana or something like this, right? And you just have to recognize what is your main resource, right? In the matchup, often mage versus mage, it's gonna be mana. It just depends though on like what type of mage it is sometimes, but especially in these kind of matchups. And then how can you gain mana advantages while gaining push, right? And a big thing in these kind of matchups is trying to get good resets for you while him taking bad resets, right?
Yeah.
This is the entire like key of the matchup, right? So with that being said, what is your plan for the next reset, right? Because I asked you this beforehand, right? Okay, what is your plan for the reset, right? Because I want you to try and take better resets than him, right? This is how we kind of win a lot of matchups, right? This is why we're in a winning position right now, agreed?
Yeah.
So what is the plan to keep this up?
I don't know, it's hard when he has so much like damage on the wave still, but
Of course. Right, but we have more mana than him, right?
yeah.
Right, so you want to use this mana.
Yeah, I guess I can just try to push and force him to use mana, and if he doesn't use mana, I can roam.
Right. So the entire idea is that I want you to aim for some sort of reset. When you think you have a better reset than him, it could be, for example, okay, if you think, okay, I want tier, let's say I don't think you want tier this game, but let's say you do.
No.
Right, then, okay, 400 gold could be this, like, PowerPoint, right, like, for example, but it keeps going, right, maybe you think, okay, boots on my champion is better than his champion, right, because he's still in his lost chapter as well, right, so maybe you think, okay, if I can get boots, right, then that can be good for me, something like this, right? Doesn't have to be an exact spike or anything like that, but just try to think about, okay, when is a good reset for me, right, and try to aim for that, right, and if you can take a good reset when he has a bad reset, you can gain huge advantages, right?
Yeah.
And up until this point, we just decide a gold spike, I don't care what it is, let's say it's like fucking 1500 gold right now, which is what we have, right? Then the goal here would be shove, reset, right? Up until this point, we would make plays on the map, right? And his job then is at the same time as you're trying to make plays on the map, is to deny plays on the map, right? He has invest mana, he has invest like tempo into this, right? This is the general idea. And this is how you pressure, right? And if he does not care, you can make plays for free, and that's good, obviously. Like, we both can agree on that, right?
Yeah, of course.
And if he tries to match, eventually we should just have a better reset on him, if we have planned correctly. Agreed?
Yeah.
Right. This is how we play, right? Because we can't make plays always without him, like, not caring. We can often get prio on times, right? And we can roam around the map better, right? And another thing with, like, us having vision, right? Let's say we have vision, right? Okay, a bit deeper in the jungle, especially if it's comp play, right? If we have, like, vision, I don't know, maybe on Raptors or maybe over here or something like that, maybe we even have control ward over here, something like this, right? Anytime we walk into this jungle, we can feel completely safe, agreed?
Yeah.
This means, okay, we can roam pretty much for free. Anytime he walks into this river, let's say, do you think he feels safe?
No.
No, exactly, because he doesn't have vision. He doesn't know if he's gonna be completely molested by Rek'Sai in a second. You know what I mean? So, us playing vision just allows us to move on the map, right? That's the idea. And at some point, this guy will make the wrong decision. This is how you play, right? You push, you go, get vision, you push again, then you fog in. And he doesn't know if you're going into bot lane or if you're staying mid lane. And then it's like, if he doesn't shove, you have a free timer to move, like move bot lane, for example, right? And if he does shove, you can just show again, and then you can just play on him, for example, right? And if he doesn't move after, you like all of these things, right? And he at some point is forced to make a bad decision, right?
Yeah.
With us playing with the vision, right? And this is how we want to play mages. Make sense?
Yeah.
Especially roaming mages like Taliyah, Rise, etc. Right, and here we end up rotating for display. Here's kind of like one of those moments where it's like, after we clear this, I wouldn't mind us just fogging with the Rek'Sai, right? Because then they don't know what's going on, right? And they don't know if you're sitting in this bush and just ready to pop up on the next wave, right? For example.
Yeah.
And obviously we like rotate late, we maybe don't understand that there's gonna be a play because it's solo queue, right? And that's fine, right? That's alright. Here we just trade on the brand. I would assume we just dive this afterwards. Or maybe we don't even die, they use suicide and that works too. Right, not bad. And now we want to reset, right? And do we have our item now? Yeah. I don't see this item too much in mid lane. How come you go with? I'm just curious.
I usually feel like it's so much more damage early than going tier.
Yeah, you don't have to go.
Is so shit.
You don't have to go tier, right? Like that's not what I'm saying. That's fine if you don't want to go that item.
What other item am I supposed to go to?
I mean, otherwise you can go Ludens. This is like the main thing right now.
Yeah, but I think Luden is shit compared to this item. I don't see a world where that is ever better on a champ that isn't just purely one shot.
Yeah,
I think Taliyah is maybe both, but yeah.
Yeah, you can play to one shots, right? I'm not saying you should go Ludens, for example, every single game, or Blackfire Torch every single game, or whatever, right? I think there are some games where you should go tier, right?
Yeah, I think the builds are tier or the Blackfire Torch.
And I mean, looking at this, right? Like this is why I'm like suggesting it as well, right? Because a lot of people like have success on it, right? I'm not saying it's the best thing, like, and I'm not saying it's like the best thing this game, right? I'm just saying make an active decision. You see what I mean? There are games where it is the best item. Last season it was a really shit item, like really shit item, right? And you almost never built this unless you had no other option, right? I think this season it's actually a good item, and it's something to try out.
Oh yeah, I haven't really played with it, so maybe it's just better now.
Yeah, I mean, let's play, as I said, like, because it got buffed, like, the split threats, so... And it's like, if you don't like it after trying it or whatever, like, that's fine, right? Like, just look at a game, like, because this game, for example, right?
Yeah, this is a pretty good, like, play for one-shots with Rek'Sai game as well.
Right, you have 1, 2, 3, 4 CC tools.
Yeah.
Anyone who hits any ability, you can one-tap on, right?
Yeah.
Except for if Skarner gets hit, then it's a bit unlucky, but...
Yeah.
Right, it's just something to consider, right? I don't hate, like, Blackfire Torch, I think it's fine, right? But this is something to consider. And after this, you go, what, Leandris?
Yeah.
Right. Alright, I don't hate that we stayed the wave here. Like, I think we fixed our tempo. I think if, optionally, like, if you, for example, already have your gold here, like, after this play, let's say.
Yeah.
Then I think you can just reset straight away if you want to, like, instead of taking the wave. If you feel like you need the gold, then, okay, that's fine.
I feel like I just always go back to my lane and then push a wave and then recall, but this gives him, like, some time. If I would reset instantly, he wouldn't be able to just push this for free.
Right. Because you use, like, a bit of tempo, like, walking back to lane as well, right? This is, like, a thing.
The only reason to stay that wave is to get gold, I feel like.
Yeah, and this was fine, right? Because now we get, like, the component we wanted, right?
Yeah.
Like, I don't hate it, right? But it's something to consider, right? That you could just place insta-base and walk back mid lane, and then our tempo will be better.
Yeah.
Alright, what is the plan now?
I think we can play for this streak slowly. So just push and try to go in with Rek'Sai.
Right, so the plan is to try and get Prio and then play Drake.
Yeah.
Sure. Right. And now it's like not super easy to like get Prio either, right? But it's still the same thing. This guy should be scared of Rek'Sai. Yeah. Anytime he plays like this, for all I care, like obviously Rek'Sai is not on the map now, but otherwise you ping this Rek'Sai to come in. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
Right, because it's like not legal. And you can ping the Leona as well to come in if she has a timer, right? Or whatever. Hey guys, it's Aqsept. If you're enjoying the coaching session that you're watching right now, please consider leaving a like and subscribe. I upload coaching sessions daily right now. I also upload shorts daily. And if you're interested in seeing the sessions a bit more live and asking questions while we're going on, then Just remember, I always do these sessions live on my Twitch channel, so you can go follow that, link in the description. Anyways, thank you, and enjoy the video. I don't like mind how we play this fight. I think there's something to consider. Like, I think if we, like here, initially, when we stand here, right? I think it seems like you seem a bit zoned off by this guy. Yes or no?
Yeah.
Right. I don't think that's like the case here. Like, I think if you have like Jhin here, like this brand will not one tap you, right? Because he doesn't have ult. So it's like, yeah, go.
I think I also wanted the controlled word.
No, and that's fine.
But yeah, that's...
What I'm trying to like note is that instead of like doing the pathing we did, right, is that try to think about, okay, what can I actually do in the fight, right? Okay, here you use like your combo, right, and then it gets Kalista ulted. Right now, all you're doing is like zoning this guy with Q, right? But once you start walking over here, like there's a world where he could walk over here. You see what I mean? Or like you start one-on-one the Jhin or something. I'd rather have you walk like this and stand hugging this wall, zoning him out, right? And then also being able to participate in the fight.
Yeah.
And if you're for some reason scared of him, then it's fine to take this path.
Yeah, that's... I just take the safest path where I can hit.
Right, but it's like, I think a part of it is like also zoning him out so he doesn't get value, right? And that's something to remember. And it's similar to like the early game play, right? When I was like, yeah, it's fine if we're like wanting to participate in the play, but sometimes denying this guy participation is really good, right? At this time we had the option to do both, right? Now he's starting to like roam around here, right? For example. And obviously we probably didn't know like that this Jax was TPing like over here, right? Like, I'm not gonna say we know about this because it's solo queue. Yeah, go, if you have something to say.
I feel like if I path like towards Brand and then I wanna use all my spells to help the Rek'Sai, I feel like I just waste HP if he attacks me.
I don't think that's the case, like, because it's like, the only thing you do, right, is that, like, with Jhin here, right, it's like, if you position a bit more aggressively, he will be forced to walk out, right? If he does not, like, this guy will just die. And if he, and if, like, for some reason you miss everything, well, he's just a better player, unlucky. I don't know what else to say. Like,
yeah.
And it's like, because like my point is just that we can kind of do both. We want to space out this guy, right? Not walking into his range, that's not what I'm saying, right? You space out him, right? So he can't walk into our range. If he does, then he will take damage, right? While at the same time participating over here, right? Because we walk way out of the space that we have, right?
Yeah.
Right. Right, and then as I said, like, we don't know the Jax is TPing probably solo queue, right? But it's like, yeah, another thing, right, is that if we can, like, position towards this side, right, once again, like, then we can counter this, right? But I'm fairly certain we're not aware, and that's fine. I'm not saying we should be aware either. And it looks like we probably just win this fight. How do we lose this game, by the way?
Yeah.
I guess this is a classic solo queue game when, like, people just get unfocused for some reason. They think it's one.
Yeah.
Alright, do you have item on base now? Not sure what happened here. What did happen here? Did bro just teleported? Or am I doing it too fast? Oh no, they did not. It just glitched out on the spectate, I think. Yeah, I mean, the only thing I would say about this is that if we know he doesn't have flash, let's say, then I would use insta flash. Like, because there's no reason for us to take like this much damage, you see what I mean?
Yeah.
It's like, because we know he's gonna ult it, right? Then we have to flash his ult. If we think he has flash, for example, like, then maybe we have to save flash, because otherwise if he flash, like, if we flash, he flash ults, then we're kind of fucked, right? But, and maybe we just don't know if he has flash or not, right?
Yeah, and I didn't know if he had ult either after the fight.
Right. Yeah, then it's fine.
I feel like I kinda, if he doesn't have ult, I just waste flash.
Yeah.
But yeah.
So here's kind of similar to what I was speaking about earlier. So we took this fight, right, around Drake or whatever. We stayed for like a plate, or like 2 plates even. And I don't hate it, right, because it's like tower, or like a tower, or like plates are despawning, right?
Yeah.
But it's like, normally, like, here we don't get too much, like, after taking this wave, for example, right? Like, this is something to consider, right, with the gold.
Yeah.
Tempo is really important in the game, right? Tempo allows you to make plays, and it doesn't allow enemy to make plays, right? So
Yeah.
if you have it, so keeping it can win games. Right, we keep it up here. Did we consider keeping to this or no?
Yeah. I just thought it was one already when.
No, that's fine. Like, I'm just making sure that we, once again, make an active decision, right? And then if the decision is correct or not, I don't really care, to be honest. And this guy is kind of suicide, so we take it.
Yeah.
I would probably stay and push top. Obviously, maybe this result based, but I don't know. It just seems a bit awkward to move down, and then we lose tempo rate once again.
Yeah, I was a bit, or maybe I don't know.
Yeah, because I mean, it's so like you're right to see an enemy. It's like you feel like you can kill her. That's fine, right? That's not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is that, like, okay, especially if this is comp, right? What you do is you push this wave, right? And then you just make sure that it crashes. Enemy has to respond. This tempo that you're investing to the play now would still be here, right? And now, instead of like having it be an uncontrolled play, it's a completely controlled play, right? Makes sense?
Yeah, of course.
But now we have to, like, okay, make the play, then walk back, and now it's like, now we get the, you know, it's a bit awkward. Alright, and what is the, like, general plan right now? Like, once we get this space? Because now we have Leandris, we're 2 items, we're probably the strongest champion in the game, agreed?
Yeah.
So what is the plan?
I kind of want to push outside and move to mid with ult if I can, or just play the objectives either with my team.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, in general, I think it's good to look for plays. Like, this is what your champion wants to do. It's a bit awkward maybe, but...
Yeah. I don't know. I felt like I got kind of griefed by Leona, but maybe.
I mean, let's see. Yeah, I mean...
maybe not.
I mean, here's the thing. Are you getting kind of griefed? I mean, sure, like, he should maybe, like, stop this corner. But I also think we just don't save this way, like tower ever, you know what I mean? It's like, right now, our Jhin is dead.
Yeah, maybe.
Our Rek'Sai is going out of base, or Ornn is mid lane. We don't know where people are. It's a simple game of counting heads on the map, right? And this tower, honestly, this tower does not matter. It's an irrelevant tower. Like, I get that it's like objective bounty, right? But it's like, whenever they want to, they can probably kill this tower eventually anyways, right? It's like...
I just felt like we could defend it, and then Leona doesn't help me with Skarner, and I just die.
Yeah, no, and I get that, but I still think it's like, you know, it's a bad play in that sense, right?
Yeah, especially with my shutdown.
Yeah, exactly, and it's like, yeah, I just think we're taking an unnecessary risk, right, in that sense. It's like, if I think we can fight it, and maybe sometimes in solo queue, you will just be like, oh, fuck it, let's limit test it, or whatever. And if that's the case, that's fine, right?
Yeah.
But it's just
like
that
we knew there were 4 people. I just thought I could clear waves and stand my ground and maybe kill someone with Leona, but...
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right. Alright. The wave is pushed in, right? And we said our plan is like, okay, go on side lane and then rotate into mid. So what are you gonna do now?
I try to get vision or team up with Leona or Rek'Sai.
You go mid, right? You have no job on side lane?
Yeah.
You go mid, you push, right? Do you know what PvP is? Like, not player versus player. What PvP is in, like, macro?
I don't think so.
So we have prio, we go mid lane, we take prio, we get vision, and then we go get prio again.
Yeah.
Most simple concept in League of Legends.
Yeah.
Like it macro-wise, right? So we go mid lane, we help our team get the prio, right? Because right now we're one man up, right? They have to be one person bot lane. We don't have to be, agreed? So we can use this advantage, right? Overload here. Then get the vision, right? The Leona can't get vision herself, she might get caught, something like this, right? Jhin can't catch the mid wave himself, right? So if we try to do like different things at once, okay, one person tries to get mid wave and one person tries to get vision, another is like farming camps, you know, like, and someone is bot lane, we're doing nothing, agreed?
Yeah.
Then if they are coordinated, they might engage on mid or this Leona or whatever.
Yeah.
So we just coordinate ourselves, right? We go mid lane, we push this out, we get the vision, now we get the Drake, right? And then theoretically this next step would be go get prio, right? And if you want to go get bot lane push here, like, I don't hate it, right? I would probably, like, commit to pushing the bot lane wave here. And if you think you need to participate in the fight, like that goes on over here, well, one is I would probably just ping people to back off, right? That's one thing.
Yeah.
They might not listen, they might listen, you never know. But if you think you need to participate in the fight,
I
use
should
TP.
TP.
Yeah, you don't like your TP on Taliyah is not like the most important tool ever. Like you can use your ult as well, right? So it's like, but in general, this play is not that great, and it's like if you really want to participate, like as I said, just TP. But now, like they don't have a bot lane wave to cash, and it's like we don't get a fight either.
This was a really bad decision.
I mean, I don't like hate us chasing here, like because we have Herald, but we really want to make sure we're like super slow chasing, right? Slow chasing just means you chase a max range, right? Here we're not sending max range, agreed?
No.
Right. It's like if you think you can like just kill this guy straight up, like I don't hate it either, right? But it's like in general, like Skarner ult range is a bit shorter than your auto attack range.
Yeah, like this just a like situation. I felt like Skarner would not have ult, so I like kind of play, but it's really stupid just guessing.
Yeah, I mean that's one thing, right? And it's also like our job here is not to kill these guys, right? If we can kill someone, that's great. Our job here theoretically is just make sure we keep them up here. We get the tempo over them, right? Because they are not allowed to reset, right? They have to walk all the way back, and then we can get like hurl charge, and then once we've like done this slow chase or whatever, you don't kill anyone, we can go mid lane as well, right? That's the entire idea of the play. And if we can kill someone, that's great, of course, but that's not like the objective, right? League of Legends is not a team deathmatch game, right? So.
No.
But we killed one, right? And after this, I would just fucking run. Yeah, we have to use flash. It's not great, but it's like it ends up being fine. All right, what's the goal now?
Yeah.
Or what's the plan?
Push out side lane, move to mid again, if I can.
Okay. So how can we open up mid?
Yeah, I don't know.
Right. It's fine to open
like
up mid.
They started fight, but it's like
yeah. But you're scared of like, and this you said right. You're like a bit indecisive on like these kind of macro calls, right?
Yeah,
you have
exactly.
TP. You have nothing to be scared of.
Oh, that's true.
Right. TP is like a tool like any other to invest in the game, right?
Yeah.
It's nice.
This just allows them to make a play with Jax.
Right.
I'm so behind in tempo.
Right. If you want to open up mid lane here, for example, like that can be fine. I don't hate it, right? If that's like your play after this reset, you just open mid lane and then you go to side lane. That's fine, right? Because then you're just taking an extra step. You're going mid lane, then you're going side lane, and then then you go mid lane again, right?
Yeah.
This you would do if you think you cannot get prey on side lane alone, right?
Yeah.
But it's like we just, as you said, seem indecisive, right? And now it's like Rek'Sai catches our wave, and it's not like a disaster. Like we're just kind of doing Rek'Sai's job, right? But we want this farm for ourselves, right?
Yeah.
Then we make a play on him. I don't hate it. And this move I don't like hate either, but it's a bit sad our team dies beforehand.
Yeah.
I would maybe reset here, but I guess you're waiting for your item, is what I assume.
Yeah. But
and this is just, yeah.
Go into Jax.
Yeah, I mean, this is just a bit greedy, right? Like...
Yeah, I thought I had Ornn with me. That's maybe why I played, but he just turned around. He got mad at me for taking the wave I needed for item.
Well, unlucky. But yeah, I mean, either way, it's like, I still think,
Yeah,
Right.
And they get Baron of it.
Yeah, they get Baron. It is what it is. Alright, what is the plan now?
Yeah, try to defend bot tier 2 and mid tier 2, I guess. I think this mid tier 1 should be dead. And try to get into fights for soul. I feel like we're still kinda strong. So
yeah, I mean, you're decently strong, right? So it's like, the thing is, like, generally, if... I mean, this is solo queue, so enemy team will just go Drake, agreed? And then they will start hitting the Drake, and then you can probably start hitting them back. If this is comp play, the correct play is to just go mid and go bot, or top if they want to do that, I don't care.
Yeah.
And then if you go Drake, they end the game.
Yeah.
Basically. Like, not really, but you know what I mean, they will basically end the game. So it's
Yeah.
like, our number one goal is, when they get Nash, is to push out waves as much as possible. This is what gives us time, right? So,
Yeah.
for example, if you think this mid tower is dead, we go bot lane here, and we push this wave out. Right?
Yeah.
And that means they have one less wave to play on until they fix that, right? Which, fixing it takes like a minute. Nash is 3 minutes, right?
Yeah, but I go mid again.
Yeah, we go mid, and if you feel like we need to be mid lane here for whatever reason, maybe our team needs to reset or something, that's fine. But now, they play on the bot lane wave, right?
Yeah.
If they had not gone Drake here, let's say, or like, I guess they hadn't reset off the Nash, I'm not sure, to be honest. I don't think they did. But let's say they had reset off the Nash now as well, and we're like sitting on mid lane, and someone's sitting here on a fixed bot lane wave. We cannot push this wave, agreed? Like, if they're just sitting here. So they will get pushed, and they will get pushed, and like, after a certain point, they will get something, right?
Yeah. I feel like there's so many times this games I should push bot wave and
Yes.
I just go mid.
Yes, and our farm is like, not super terrible, right? But this could easily be like 210, right?
Yeah. Of course. It should be as well, I think.
Right. And sometimes it's worth like giving a farm to make a play, right? But it's like, as I said, especially when you have TP, don't be so scared, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah, I think we play this fight fine. I mean, it's like, we try to keep our distance generally, and throwing combos. I mean, we're kind of playing the champion like we're supposed to. I mean, potentially,
Yeah.
before the fight.
Can look for ults.
Right, this is probably the strongest Taliyah, like, tool in the game, right? So it's like, try to look for some sort of ult, maybe position on the flank right here, something like that, right? And maybe ult them right here, or like, maybe you even like walk back here, and maybe you can wall them off right here, something like that, you know?
I don't really think this is possible, like when they have
It's not super
Baron
easy.
like this.
No, it's of course super hard to get the position, right? But if Leona can stand over here, you can stand over here.
Yeah, I guess.
And it's like, if we're scared of, okay, the fact that these guys are literally Narnia right now, we can maybe do it on the other side. Right?
Yeah.
Just retake this, help them come back here. When like they're actually here, we can wall off here. Right? Makes sense?
Yeah.
Something like this. I'm not saying we have to. I'm saying it's something to look for. If you think it's the wrong play, that's fine.
I'm not too good at using ult in these fights. Like this first like season I'm playing more Taliyah as well, so I'm not.
Yeah, so that's something to think about though, right? It's like a very like unique tool in a sense, right? It's like maybe look at like some people like who play it a lot, like in LPL or something like this, right? Or not even a lot, just look at someone playing it because they do this permanently, right?
Yeah, of course.
And how they look for the angles, right? Alright, and it seems like we just kind of lose the fight. Let's see.
Yeah.
It's like not easy to play this kind of fight, right? Because like they are not that weak right now, but it's also like Jax has a very powerful position, right?
Yeah. Felt like I did a lot of damage this fight, but...
Yes, you do. I'm just trying to figure out how we get like so chunked, and it's mainly because we just get hit by every brand ability at the end, I guess.
Yeah.
One thing here to consider is that you don't want to stand on top of this guy, right? This is like a general rule, right? You don't, like, two carries don't stand on top of each other, right? I understand we have to space away from the Jax. This we're doing fine, right? Like right here. But here, instead of like walking this kind of way, we walk this kind of way, right?
Yeah.
And a simple adjustment like that means that both you and Jin cannot get hit by the same ability, right?
Yeah, because now I deal damage to Jin for like free.
Yeah, I mean, you're both taking damage, right? He can hit one of you, probably, right? But he can't hit both, usually. And it's like, even scarier stuff like, okay, CC abilities, these kind of things, right? Can hit you both otherwise. You want them to like, leave it up for them to make a choice, right? That's the main thing, right?
Yeah. Especially against champs like Brand. And
Yeah.
maybe Jax as well.
Yeah, Brand, Jax, Skarner, Sona, etc.
Yeah.
Right. Alright, and now we kind of run back and we fight again. I mean, this is great for us, right? Because the enemy has used Nash for nothing, so we take it.
Yeah.
This fight seems a bit awkward, though. One thing is Rek'Sai is like not here, right? The other thing is that we're kind of getting sandwiched, right? We cannot fight in here unless we can one-tap them, right?
Yeah.
We have to like fight kind of in a line, right? So it's like, okay, for example, if they try to approach here, we can easily zone them off, or if they same thing over here, right?
Yeah. I feel like it's not that hard to fight if Jax is not the one flanking.
Right, but my problem is not that Jax is like flanking here, right? It's just the fact that like they can get stuff off, right? Because for example here, like we can see the idea that okay, we're sandwiched here, right? And we have to stand on top of each other, right? We don't want to stand on top of each other, right? But we're forced to.
Yeah.
Right?
Nice.
And I'm not saying we die here when the Sona ults. This does not happen, right? But what I am saying is that, like, if they have better set up these kind of things, right, it's hard for us to play. Brand is literally not here. If Brand is standing over here where the Sona is, you die.
Yeah, that's true.
Right? We have to realize what kind of space we have, right? This is like, general fights are about having more space than enemy. This is what fights, like, are based upon.
Yeah.
And whoever has more space often wins, right? If we try to walk into this space, then all of a sudden, like, let's say, like, our space is, like, this or something, right? If we try to walk into the choke, then it's gonna look like, I mean, they're gonna start taking space, and it's gonna look like this, right? Where we have, like, a narrow fucking walk path, you see what I mean?
Yeah, I if I can, like, position more up and play with Ornn, it's a lot better. But...
Right. It's like, because they should not be allowed to walk through the choke, agreed?
Yeah.
The choke is like a place of death on the map.
Yeah, maybe Jin should be the one since I'm already at the Drake, but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, doesn't matter really, right? My point is just that, like, we cannot start walking in here, like, completely, right? And someone should be doing this job, right? And it's like, obviously, it's like solo queue and it's unlucky, right? Whatever, right? But it's especially in comp, like, this is how you want to play it, right? And it's like, often, about in solo queue, it's just about recognizing what your teammates will do as well, right? And another thing is, like, your champion is generally strong at, like, zoning these kind of, like, positions as well, right? Like, the zone control on Taliyah is very strong, agreed?
Yeah.
And similar champions, I mean, you played Orianna as well, right?
Yeah.
Or I'm not sure if you do anymore, because let's just say that, yeah, it's not too pretty, right? But it's either way, like, you play the champion at least, right? Like, maybe not that actively right now, but you know how to play it, right? It's like, maybe you play Syndra as well. Like, all of these champions, very strong in these kind of tools. They try to walk in. You place an Orianna ball, they can't walk in. These kind of things. And so you have to realize what your champion is, like, good at in that sense as well, right?
Yeah.
We end up chasing the Sona a bit here. I mean, you both flash at the same time, it's fine.
Yeah, then I walk into this corner.
Yeah, this was a bit sad.
Really
I mean, we kind of lose vision of him at the same time as it happens, so it probably confuses us a bit, but...
Yeah.
Yeah, because here, you probably A-click and you lose vision and you walk in. I think that's what happens. I could be wrong, but...
Yeah, I think so too, yeah. Then I just die.
But yeah, it's like in general, just, yeah, standing on max range, right? And it's like, with you and Jin doing like the same job here, right? We run into issues on the underside. And also Rek'Sai is not here, right? So the fight is just not winnable, I think, in general, but...
Yeah.
Alright, what is the plan now?
No, we're not ahead anymore. I think we should still try to push and really try to play for the soul, because that's like our win con, I feel like.
Right, okay. So, where do we want to push then?
Right now, maybe top is a bit more.
Yeah. Do you win Silent right now? Versus Jax?
Not really.
I don't care if you kill him or not. What I mean is, can you get the push without dying?
Not if he flashes on me, I feel like.
Okay, so if he has flash, you're fucked. Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one thing we probably don't know if he has flash or not, because it's solo queue, right?
Yeah.
The other thing is that if we're scared of this, right, we have to have someone hold our hand. How do we get someone to hold our hand?
Ping, help.
Well, that's one thing, right? Another thing is, like, unlock them first, right? If you push mid lane with them, they can move with you. Right? If you go here and they go here and you're both just standing there, FF.
Yeah.
Right? And maybe your job is not to match Jax or whatever, right? That's another thing, but like, yeah. It's just about unlocking someone. When someone is unlocked and they have the tempo because you have gotten them push in their lane, they can invest that tempo into you, right? So you invest tempo into them, they invest it back into you, and you can bounce this back and forth, right? This is how you play League of Legends. Make sense?
Yeah.
Right. And now we get a pick. That's fine. In general, we don't have to like catch side lanes. Like if enemy Jax is like committing towards the side lane, we don't have to like play the side lane. If our job right now is probably just to catch side lane versus Jax, right? If that's what we're gonna do. Oh, what the fuck happened here?
I don't know. He just cancels the ult.
Yeah, I mean, it seems like, I mean, this is the third time, right, where we just kind of misspaced the ult. I mean, one time was because we thought he didn't have it, maybe, and one time was because, well, we lost vision. That time we don't have an excuse, agreed? I mean, I don't care. No. We get hit and we like kill them anyways. It doesn't matter, right? But it's just, you know, it's a general thing,
my
right?
Excuse.
It's like a general thing, right? It's just like about understanding what space, like, because it's like there's a few times, right? Okay, over here at this last Drake fight, right? Over at the first like Drake fight when Brand was like over here.
Yeah.
Seems like we don't always understand how to space who in that sense.
Nope.
And it's something to think about, right? Because spacing in team fights is very important, right? Especially when you play zone control champions, right? Because your champion can have a lot of power if you space them. Alright, and now we're just kind of holding hands in mid lane. How come?
Yeah, I don't know.
Are we scared to go inside lane?
I should not be since Jax is bot, but
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you're scared to go inside lane, it's correct to be mid lane, and then you go top lane. When you get push, you get some vision.
Yeah, I think it's more like I'm scared that Skarner can just E in on my team if I'm not with them. It's like more that. Yeah, true.
Right. And if you, for some reason, think that they will literally grief the fight before, like, something happens, right? Like, before you can TP or whatever, right? You need to be there initially, and they have given you reason to believe that. Okay, sure, be mid lane, for all I care. You know what I mean? But it's like, I don't like us just ARAMing for zero reason either. Like, this, you know, how we lose agency in the game, right?
Yeah.
And it's like, at some point, we gotta catch this wave anyways, right? Enemy right now can just play a waiting game until you go there, and then they will engage, right? Yeah. And it's just our job to, when we do catch this wave, just ping the living shit out of teammates to not play aggressive on this mid lane wave, right?
Yeah.
And here we get flashed upon us a bit then. I guess this fight is just omega doomed.
Yeah. I think we lose the game.
This fight is just very hard to play. I think it's like, one thing is that we should be aware of the fact that Jax has a move timer, right? I'm not saying you individually as a team, and it's also part of your job then, if you do recognize this, to ping your teammates back, because you cannot trust these guys to be human beings, agree?
Oh, no.
Right.
Yeah, I agree.
So it's like, you can trust yourself though, right? So you have to do everything in your power, right? Here's, I mean, we get flashed upon, and then Jax has a flank in his own assault. It's hard. Here I would probably use play to live, and not play to DPS, and then maybe we can keep the wave, or like the game alive, but maybe, you know, because this fight is lost, right? We can't play to win the fight.
Yeah, of course.
And here we're just losing it. Alright.
Yeah.
Is there any questions about this game, or that I was unclear about?
No, I don't think so. Maybe if I, like, I have TP most of the game here, I guess.
Yeah.
But do you think I should be more mid if I don't have TP? Like, in this game, or?
I mean, if it's comp, for sure not, right? Like, then you should just be on side lane until you need to be on mid lane, right? Because then you can actually trust your teammates.
Yeah.
If you don't have TP, you just have to ask yourself, right? If you, like, think these guys...
Like Skarner is, like, insane engage. like able to force engages so easily.
Right. The only thing is that when you go on side lane, right, you go on side lane so that you can get tempo and then go mid lane and then we play mid lane. This is the entire idea, right?
Yeah,
when
of
you're
course,
not on mid lane without TP, let's say, and they have a mana advantage, we should play on the tower. If you notice, if you start going bot lane and you notice your teammates are not doing this and they're playing far up in mid lane, let's say, then fair enough, go mid lane. You know what I mean? These guys are gonna grief. Agreed?
Yeah, but I can't really just play to expect my teammates to grief entire game.
No,
Then I'm just
right.
never gonna
Then
win.
we just lose agency, right? So it's like if you play on mid lane the entire game and Brand just decides to go on side lane and farm a few waves and we can't force an engage, just FF now.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah, I feel like I should. It's better, like even in solo queue, to go on side and maybe they grief once or
Yes.
twice, but it's like I still like progress the game somehow.
Yes, I mean the thing is as well that enemy griefs as well when you go on side lane.
Yeah,
because you will go on side lane, and what happens when you go on side lane is that enemy will start getting stressed out because they think we need to deal with this guy on side lane, someone needs to catch a wave. Oh, he's not here, let's force a fight, etc., etc. They do three different things at the same time, and someone will grief, right? So all of a sudden you're sitting here farming a wave, and then enemy overforces here whilst two people are walking top lane, and like someone's resetting or something, and then it's like we just get 2 kills for sheer reason.
Yeah.
Right. You don't apply pressure by just standing in mid lane, right? Then they see what you're doing and they're just like, oh, whatever, we're chilling. When you go on side lane, they start getting stressed.
I feel like I'm there, but I hate being there.
Yeah, I get that as well, right? And it's like, when you, like, for example, shove this wave in, like, if you don't need to reset, let's say, here you go mid lane. Fair enough, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, now you have the pressure, right? You don't need to be on side lane anymore. Now you make a play. It's the same thing as the early game. Imagine, in the early game, instead of playing mid lane, you sat in bot lane. And you didn't farm waves. This is what you're doing in the mid game, right?
I feel like I'm a lot better at being more decisive when I play Ryze, because I feel like there's no way I'm ever gonna do anything when I go mid. If I play Taliyah and I have Leona, it's like there's always a like chance that she will just ult someone and I can combo them and we just kill instantly.
And also, like, Taliyah is... Yeah, go.
This doesn't really happen this game, so it's like I just run around doing nothing.
If you think like, okay, if I go mid lane, we can force a play. For all I care, you just fucking spam ping that we're going in. You know what I mean? Because I never see you ping in the chat at all, right? And this is something a lot of people don't do, right? But the more you ping, the more agency you can have, right?
Yeah.
And it's like on Ryze, it makes sense, right? Because like if you look at this champion, you look at Ryze, right? The big thing with this champion in teamfights is that you have a lot more tools to work with when nothing's going on, right? For example.
Yeah.
Like if we look at like this one Drake fight where we lost, right? You can actually do stuff at the Drake fight before, I guess. We can actually do stuff while nothing is actively going on. We can like poke, we can look for chunks of damage, we can zone people out. If you're playing Ryze, you're literally just walking at someone and hope you deal damage. You know what I mean? Like that's a champion. Like it's like, so when you're standing in mid lane and you're like Taliyah, you can poke a bit with abilities, you can maybe look for a combo, these kind of things. If you're standing with Ryze, you literally don't press an ability. You feel kind of useless, right?
Yeah.
And on top of that, Ryze is a better side
doing the like right play.
Yeah, and I mean Ryze is also like a really good like side laner in general, right? And Taliyah is like not meant to be a side laner, right? You're just meant to like push waves.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Is there anything else?
I don't think so. We didn't really talk about the wards, except like moving, warding, and
right. Do you want to know like specifically where to ward, or?
I don't know. How do you feel about like control wards? Because as mid lane, if I get jungle or support, I buy them. But as mid lane, I like usually never buy them. And if I do, I just sit on them because I don't know where they're like.
So first things first is like if we play like a roaming mid laner, I like control wards, right? If you're planning on sitting there farming the entire game, it doesn't make sense to like build them, right? But it's like one really OP tool, for example, is that let's say not now in this stage of the game, right? But like later on, okay, we can get some deep watch. I like calling it like the base vision line with control wards, right? So let's just say every time we walk into this bush, let's say we have a control ward here, he cannot clear it out, right? Then every time you walk into this bush, he does not know where you are.
Yeah.
Once again, it forces him to make a decision, right? And if we don't have a control ward or a sweeper for that matter. Maybe we can go sweeper, but then we're like, then we're not placing these wards, and then it's like if we're not buying control wards, then we have zero vision, right?
But for this game, do you think it's like best to control ward the first push, so I know that he's gonna be like more scared as soon as I walk out that lane, or?
But it can be for sure, right? It's like it depends on how you want to play, right? It's like if you want to play to fog bot side a lot of the time, I think it can be worth it, right? Like that's my take at least. It's like maybe if it's a comp game, then maybe you could ward like over here or something like that, a bit more aggressively, and then like if you think this guy has like placed a ward or something, like then maybe Rek'Sai goes and clears it out or something, right?
Yeah.
It's like, but the thing is, like, if you're not playing like mages that want to roam, and I'm not saying you should buy a lot of control wards. I want you to place like one control ward, right? Like, okay, you have if you have like this here, and you can get like maybe get a deep ward on like raptors, let's say, like the entrance even only, you can perma play with prio, agreed? Like in this kind of lane.
Yeah.
Especially when you're ahead, right? So you can just perma keep the prio, and he can never clear this ward, right? This ward is staying here forever, right? And it gives us a lot of power because of the trait.
But if I were Brand, you would never place a control ward in this.
No, especially not in this game state, right? Because he's never gonna get like any what's called any prio, right? Maybe if it's a comp game, right? But not in solo queue, for sure not.
Yeah, or maybe I would place it like in the bush for the entrance into jungle.
Yeah, something like that, right? There's a few things that can be fine, right? Like but it's like you don't have to buy control ward. Like control wards don't make or break like solo queue games, for sure not, right? In comp it's a bit more important, especially mid late game, right?
Yeah.
In the early game, it's once again, if you can get away with buying one and just having it placed, that's quite good. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We don't want to keep buying them. Like that's just a waste of money. So we want to be smart with where do we place which wards, right? And it's like and
because right now I feel like I don't buy them because I just feel like I'm gonna waste it.
Yeah. No, and it's like if you like, I think just like being aware of like this fogging, because I don't see you like fog too much in general, right? Like you clear a wave and then maybe you step back, and then you're like standing.
Yeah.
And this is like a really OP tool, right? Because like in general, you don't have to make a play every time you get a push, right? That's not what I'm saying. But what you can do is like, for example, you walk down here and you just recall in this push or something, and you just look bot lane. And you check out what they do. If they keep playing for like prio, that means you don't have to kill them this time, but next time you do the same thing, you push, you go fog, and then you go kill them. Because you know how they act, right? They don't respect the fact that you can move to them. Right?
Yeah.
And plays like this and using control wards for this, right? They can carry games.
Yeah. Because I feel like this game is like a really good example of a game where I should be able to carry it. Like every game is losable, but I should have won this game.
Yes. It's like sometimes shit's unlucky, right? But it's like
but my team did not grief like.
No, they still wanted to win, right? It's like, so it's like there were ways we could play, right? For sure. And it's like the main thing I would just say with the warding, right, is like not even control watch, right, but just look to get prio to go ward, right? And I don't like you buying like Farsight this early. Or Farsight this early is kind of useless, I'll be completely honest. Like if you have the bad habit of not placing normal wards, I guess it could make sense, right? But it's like,
yeah, exactly. It's like that, or
right.
I felt like the old Farsight was better to buy early because I could just place it in like in their jungle. There were like some bushes, like the one behind the red buff or the one entrance on.
I mean, there's a lot, right? Like this one is really good. This one is really good.
That one was like really good before, but now it's
for Farsight it's not that great, right?
No, exactly.
And another thing is that compared to like before, it was like, okay, they walked over Farsight, and if they didn't notice it, they stay there. Now it's like you ward here and they walk over it once, and you're like, what the fuck am I doing? Like it's like you feel kind of sad, right? So it's like those kind of things, right? Like so it's not as useful right now, right? And normal wards are quite useful, right? You can basically have one normal ward out perma, right? So and if you can have one ward out, and maybe you can sync up with Rek'Sai, and maybe you both have one control ward, right? You can all of a sudden have a lot of vision, right? Like you can have one
and the
here,
sweeper is just better as well.
Yeah.
If I didn't want the like normal ward.
100% sweeper is better, right? Because it allows you to do stuff, right? So like in general, and especially when you roam. So alright. Any more questions? Or does the wording like make sense, or is there anything else you would like me to explain on it?
No, I think it makes sense. I'm also like in late game when I have Farsight,
Yeah.
because I like always go it. I feel like I save it or waste it a lot of the times.
Yeah.
I just place it and they're right on it instantly, and it's just gone.
I mean, for me, it's like you gotta have a reason why you're using it. You don't use it because it's up.
Yeah.
You know? Like you save it for some like reason. Okay, maybe it's like you're now pushing out side lane, like let's say, and then you're like, okay, I just want to place one in like a bush, you know, so I know when they come. Or it's like you're like, if you're planning on moving anyways a lot of the time, like you don't use it. Like let's just say like we're pushing our bot lane at some point of the game, and then you just plan on moving up anyways. Like there's no reason to like place a ward here. You see what I mean? Like you just move up and then you save it for later. You know, something like this, right? As long as we have a reason for it, I don't mind it, right? But we gotta think about, okay, what purpose does it have, right? When we ward.
Yeah.
And even if it insta spots someone and insta disappears, it can still have had a reason, right? Like that's fine, right?
Yeah, I guess.
It still spots
true.
someone out, right? But if we place it and we like and then it spots someone and we're like we gain nothing from this, then it was probably a waste, right?
Yeah, like sometimes I place it in the like bush, like the bottom, the very bottom.
You mean
or in the jungle?
Or
no,
you mean like this or what, or this?
That one, yeah.
This.
And I just like, yeah, exactly. I just spot Brand. I know Brand is spot lane already, and it's just gone instantly.
Yeah.
So I guess it's. Do you feel like it's better to put it in some of like the?
It just depends on what you're using it for. If you're like pushing and you're scared of getting cheese on this bush, place it there.
Yeah.
Right? And it's like if you know you're not getting cheese, maybe place it here, right, or whatever.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
It's like, and usually if I'm playing side lane, right, I usually like placing like a control ward in this bush, right, for example, or I like placing it in like this bush usually, right, because then you see people rotate, right, but they will not spot the ward usually.
Yeah, I feel like especially on like these kind of unsafe champs like Taliyah, a control ward would kind of help a lot for pushing out side lanes and
right,
like pressuring the game to win.
Yeah, but then it's a similar thing to like the early game, right? It's like if we have a control ward here and we push, and then it's like someone defends on tower. If we rotate up, we know they don't see us.
Yeah.
Right. It's a similar thing.
Yeah.
Right. Anything else?
No, I don't think so.
All right. If you have any questions in the future, just send a message. It's completely fine.
Yeah.
All right. And otherwise, I mean, I have nothing else right now. Session will be uploaded like, I don't know, sometime this week or next week, and I'll tell you when. Otherwise, if you want to watch it earlier, it's on Twitch Rods. So
yeah.
Right.
Thanks a lot.
Yeah, hope it helps, and I'll see you, man.
Yeah, bye.